And gentlemen, welcome to Glodon Contractor Symposium, Uplifting Contractors' Performance with Digital Technology. Allow us to introduce ourselves. My name is Keen, a Customer Success Consultant of Glodon Malaysia.
And my name is Chester, also Customer Success from Glodon Malaysia.
Alright, so on behalf of GM Glodon Malaysia, we'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone here today, right, for attending this event. So it has been quite some time already since we had an event like this, right?
I think 2 years already before we have actual event.
Almost 3.
I think over 3 lah. But basically, it's good to be back in front of all of you all. I believe some of you all may know us through behind the screen. Like for example, we do workshops, coaching, trainings, always behind the screen. So it feels good to be back in front of all of you all. What do you think, Kid?
Yeah, actually, it's quite difficult for us for the past 2 years, but great all the while, right?
Great, right?
Yeah. So here's a little something for you guys, right?
So basically, currently we are actually living in an era of COVID-19. So how to say, right? Mask, and then this is how to say your sanitizer, hand sanitizer has become your essential item. Before this, it's like your wallets, your car keys. Now we cannot live without our face mask and hand sanitizer. That's like our essential item. So we do care about your safety. So if you require any fresh mask and hand sanitizer, feel free to liaise with our crew member. They'll be more than happy to help you all out, basically. And of course, we do appreciate that you all can silence your phones so that we all can actually, how to say, enjoy this newly introduced to the construction industry. All right?
All right. Just a little something for you guys. If you don't know, this attendance here today comes with a certificate of attendance. But in order for you to get this certificate of attendance, there is a catch to it. You need to stay until the end of the event, right? But not just stay until the event, you still need to fill up the feedback forms, which you can scan inside your QR code on your tag over there, right? So once you finish the event already, make sure you scan the QR code and fill up the feedback form with your personal details correctly, right?
Hey, Kin, I think you're forgetting something very important.
What?
Other than the
I think most of you here, should know that we actually have a lucky draw session, right? So this lucky draw session is actually an iPad, and we also have some other gifts also towards the end, right? So if you guys don't know, make sure that you drop your name card at the name card box outside at the exit over there, or the registration part, right? If you haven't dropped it, no worries, you can do it towards the end of the session, right?
Okay, so Kin, currently, right, around the globe, right, I realized that the development of Industrial Revolution 4.0 is actually at a rising. AEC Industry has been moving forward and also embracing these new technologies, transforming from the conventional way to BIM. So what is your verdict towards this? Huh?
Well, it's very true, because if you look at the situation right now, most of the projects now are getting more and more complex. They are getting into mixed developments instead of singular development. Although we do have small developments like that, but we are moving towards BIM. So when we talk about BIM, it is more about being in a project lifecycle, right? BIM revolves around a project lifecycle, which transmit information among other users to another user. And also it allows you to make decisions in a more accurate manner.
I see. Thanks, Kin. So with our topic, uplifting contractor performance with digital technologies, we'll be sharing you with some valuable insights on how you can actually leverage on this BIM technology. So basically, change happen, be prepared, be proactive, and be the spear in the trend of digitalization IR 4.0. All right?
All right, a big round of applause to yourself.
So without further ado, let us welcome our country director, Ms. Chen, to deliver the opening speech.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Hi. Yeah. Okay. I'm Joyce here, the country directors of Glodon Malaysia. First and foremost, thank you each and every one of you being here with us today. We are pleased to welcome for those who have been with Glodon for a long time now, and also for the first time joining our Glodon event. I remember our last physical events, which is this C++ product launching. It was held at this Side Derby Convention Center, was actually 3 years ago. MC actually is 3 years ago, our last physical event. So we are proud, finally, after 3 years, we are proud to host these physical events again with all of you at this wonderful place. Yeah, we are still alive. All right, so in today's conference, our events, we will focus more on these digital transformations for contractor. I believe this is most topic that probably you heard about in these couple of years since pandemic. There's a joke that who led digital transformations, not CEO, not CTO, it was COVID-19. Yeah. So I think in this year, digital transformations have shaping the ways on how we work, how we think, and how we connect with each other. With all these changes, it brings a lot of positive impact to the industry. We believe the way forward to these contractors to moving forwards is to invest in technologies and also innovative ideas. With all these new solutions and younger workforce, there are always new ways of working to be discussed, which can actually streamline and also upgrade the industry in a positive way, right? But for industries that typically have been laggards when it comes to innovations and also implementations of technologies, the management or change is a delicate between these while keeping your project running, and at the same time you have to develop a new, better process. Okay, in Glodon, we have invested more than $50 million for R&D in the past 3 years. We determined to provide you a strong digital tool with advanced technologies, and I hope with all these investments, our QS, cost manager, and other professionals could be grown more digitally and sustainably along the developments of the industry. And to date, Glodon Malaysia have more than 500 AEC firms and also 13 universities that already onboarded. Yep. And we also have more than 3,000 QS already completed the QB course professional trainings in a year. We're also working with BCISM on this cost data integrations. In the coming year, our R&D will focus more on construction stage, such as like progress claim, your subcontract management, budget management, final account management, and etc. This is to further assist our contractors to have a better cost management during your construction stage, as well as maximize your profitability of your projects. We aim to serve the best one-stop solutions of this 5D BIM digital cost management to the industry. All these achievements and visions couldn't be possible without all of your support and also our industry partner support. So again, on behalf of Glodon Malaysia, we are grateful that the trust that you place with us, and also we're looking forward to work continuously on these collaborations. Okay, so before we get started, just so I miss out, I think I would like to take these opportunities to express my sincere appreciations to all of our team, our industry partners, our participants, as well as our external panelists, Dr. Zavila and also Mr. Carl, to make this event happen. So last but not least, without taking much of your time, I would like to leave more time to these following presenters to present their sessions. And at the end of the sessions, we have these networking sessions. You may stay and share us more on these digital transformations. I hope that you have an enjoyable and fruitful event today. And also, we hope that today's topics will inspire you on your digital transformation strategy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Joyce, for the wonderful presentation from your side there. Right, so it's never too late to start fresh on digitalization. So let's hop into digitalization era this time, right?
Yep.
Okay, so to kickstart our symposium, I'd like to invite Mr. Chew Siak Kaur, Channel Empowerment Director of Glodon Malaysia. So he'll be talking about the leading edge technology for contractors' digital transformation. Let us give him a round of applause.
Thank you, MC, for the good introduction. All right, so I'll be, first of all, my name is Kor. So I will be bringing you all the information about leading edge technology for contractors' digital transformation. So looking at the digital transformation itself, we can actually decompose into 4 major content, where we look into the background and technology actually applies in the current project. And then we move on to the corporate and project smart side, how corporate level and the project level utilize it. And then why Glodon? Why is it always Glodon? And then at the last but not least, where we can start from. At the positional level, how we can kickstart over. Okay? So first of all, the background and technology. So in a very new era, we're looking at what are the challenges and the visions of digital era. In this digital era, there are many jargons coming around with the, when you talk about digital transformation, they were like AI building, robotic, globalizations, sustainability, organizational, and even there are countries setting various types of targets to have a better construction industry performance. So they tend to have lowering down like 50% of the, increasing 50% of the productiveness, lowering 50% or 1/3 of the cost, and lowering down the carbon emission and so on. But why all these targets and all these jargons came from? So basically, when we look into our construction industry, where we can actually separate them into demand and supply, where in terms of demand, we can actually see that there are trends where tailored architectural designs, there are needs of industrial constructions, sustainability development, people-centric intelligence services. However, in the supply of our current industry, we have aging workers, more accidents, high energy consumption, overtime, overcost, low profit, and low quality. So that actually in the recent research has already brings up, it actually lowers down 10% of our productivity, and it equivalent to lower down 5% of the profitabilities. So with that, Glodon tried to identify the use of technology, where we identify the use of BIM as the very medium of communication between the physical environment and the digital environment. And in this session, I'll be focusing more onto the 3 drivers to look into as our core technology over the construction digital transformation. So in the 3, I would say the 3 drivers, in the 3 drivers, we have digitization as our first stage. What we do is to make all the site information into binary data, and then we connect to it with internet connectivity, the internet connection, to summarize all the information into a database. And last but not least, we'll run intelligent analytics to make use of the information and help us to identify better performance productivity. So basically, when we talk about intelligence, we'll be able to imagine that, neural network kind of things. So very similar, how we actually replicate or we frame into our construction industry. Horizontally, we will break through the barriers of communication between the positions and divisions. There will have no information barriers between one position to another. And all this information will be summarized in the project level. And at the project level, all the various numbers of project information will then sum it up over to a corporate level. So with that, basically, as some of our case study over here, we can see that various positions and divisions information are shared across projects, and projects information are shared towards one dashboard on the corporate level. So here we look into how the corporate and the project, we actually utilize technology. So at the corporate level, we look into, we have various dashboards available. We have the comprehensive control dashboard, the digital site dashboard, large machinery management dashboard, video surveillance dashboard, environmental supervision dashboard, productivity management dashboard, quality safety management dashboard, personnel management dashboard, and last but not least, we have the material management dashboard. All dashboards, there are about 9 of them, will be summarized into one single platform, which is act as the corporate level of smart site. We call it smart site. So basically, with this dashboard itself, you'll be able to access various project site information, current status, and even how was all the way to micromanage every single procedures. So at the project level, what are we going to have the technology applies in the project level? We have immersive roaming technology. We have also the project brain and one-click supervision, where all the detailed information of the project will be summarized within the dashboard, within one dashboard. We also have the various digital reporting. So automatically, once the information punch into the database, it will all summarize into the analytics, and analytics will generate instantly various types of reporting for different use. Also, we have the panoramic monitoring, where very similar to what we have seen the surveillance dashboard as a corporate level. And as well, we have the smart and safety dashboard. Will be able to help the project site applicant, where I remember the last project that I went to Indonesia was the airport renovation, where they actually utilized mobile application to pin it on site on the 3D model to identify which particular section having the need to have quality and safety issues to be arise, and how would it be followed up. It's all being digitized. So looking at all these information technologies, other than that, we also have the use of labor management system, where we register site, the personnel who would like to actually go in to visit the site or going to have a work execution on site over the digital device. Then once they have already registered, they will be able to pass over to the buffer gate to identify their attendance. And then once they attended, we will provide the safety education system to allow them to identify what are the key things that have to take into consideration. Whether it's a high-rise building that would need to always take care if there is anything dropping in accident or something. And all this information has been automatically summarized through the PPE and the use of smartphone devices, where we automatically identify the location through positioning system. And all in all, information will be summarized over to dashboard, identified through the project site management and the project remote management. So as at the PMO officers will be able to remotely monitor the site labor situation. Other than that, we have our supplies management system, where what it does is that nowadays the site personnel will be able to immediately order the material through mobile application. And mobile application will submit the information over to the PMO office to identify and analyze whether should they actually enter or should they actually be transporting from another site. And if the transportation of the supplies will be going into the project site, so we actually deployed a weight bridge IoT. So what it does is that when the transportation landing over to the weight bridge IoT, all the measures will be taken to identify the quantity that has actually been imported over to the site. And all this information will instantly be real-time transferred back to the database to run various project analysis to identify whether if the supply material is still within the range of availabilities. So we also have the machinery management. So what it does is that we build up the dashboard with 3D modeling technology, and we attach various IoT information over to the 3D. So what it does, we identify the wind load, the tower crane hook load, and so on, and see whether if the tower crane is in a normal operation, or it is overweight, or there are too high level of wind stress and horizontal load, and it should actually be paused. And all this information will be sent over back to the PMO, and PMO officers will have all the 3D to have a immediate simulation of the status situation. And if there is a suspected operation, and the alarm will automatically be triggered through intelligent analytics, and to warn the project management office that there are possible hazard happens at the tower crane. So project management office, even though they are far apart, they can still make immediate reaction. So all these dashboard analytics will be able to even summarize and identify whether if the tower crane is actually located at the best place that can fetch the supplies immediately to minimize the time that they're idle, right? So why Glodon? We have seen a lot of technologies that is possible actually to be provided by various other service providers. But looking at what we are doing, so basically we are able to punch through various business coverage. We have a rather wide coverage of the businesses, from the of course, as you may know, from cubic costing all the way down to different IoT devices application. And in our application, where we are our recent day, our application is now more quality controlled. So we actually have our own quality control system to make sure that whatever the software services, the application, the API, will make sure that they are safe and steady performance before we actually release it out. Other than that, we are also quite well matured with all these technologies. Say, for example, we have 20 years plus of BIM technology application. Other than that, we are able to have very good connectivity with various Internet of Things, as we have already been explained just now, how the tower crane and things be information real-time managed. We have our very own AI department nowadays to actually make API analytics for labor, machineries, and materials. We also have in the incorporations of various data centers to have better big data connectivity. And of course, talking about connectivity, we are not far, or we are actually practicing the connectivity with the aid of 5G connection at the China's project site. So with that, we have actually various type of case studies, as you may see, all the way from different infrastructures to building to township, and even mega projects. So now, what we can do as a Malaysian contractor, here I would introduce you, we actually start with the positional level 2. Why is it positional level 2? Looking at the entire 3 drivers, we have the digitization at the very first stage. So if we can always start with digitization to have our information digitized, then we move on to internet connectivity, and we embed with intelligent analytics to make our project performance with 3 drivers better productivity. So over the entire panoramic views of our available solutions, in terms of the positional level 2s, we are actually providing from all the way from the design all the way to operation stage. Where especially in the construction stage, in Malaysia, we introduced the use of Glodon Cubicos, where we have our various taking off solutions available for architectural reinforcement, mechanical, electrical. And also, we have our very own BQ software to help you to have a better streamline of information. Also introducing the use of MagicCAD, so to help you to have better design management throughout the entire construction stage. So with that, I will bring a little bit of takeaway. So with that, basically shows that technology applications for contractors' practices it's already all the way up to intelligence applications. It's not something futuristic, it's not a sci-fi. It's already happening somewhere in the world. And we are now in Glodon, we have actually adopted more than 100 projects, and about 90 projects that utilize the 3 drivers has reached out the use of the digitization, connectivity, and intelligence. So where we can actually start off, even though it may sound far, but we always can start with digitization, applying with various digital tools. So I will let my presentation stops here, and I hope that the rest of other speakers will help you to enlighten you with more to how digitized we can actually be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chew, for the insightful information on the available technology and the current state application. And now, it is my great honor to actually welcome our grand speaker, Dr. Zafira Nadia, Senior Lecturer from University Technology Malaysia, to be with us on this symposium. She will be actually sharing on the upcoming trend of big data with construction, and the topic will be reinventing construction, organization, power, and competitiveness with big data. So let us give a warm welcome to Dr. Zafira to stage.
Thank you, MC. Okay, a very good afternoon and evening to all of you. My name is Zafira. I'm a senior lecturer from University Technology Malaysia. So today, my agenda is actually to give an outlook of what big data is, basically, right? So reinventing power and competitiveness for construction enterprises. So these are among the areas on big data that I would like to share with you today. So, first thing first, what is big data? All right, can I ask you some questions? How many of us today here in this auditorium know what big data is? Hands up. Only Kyle. Kyle is exempted from this, all right. Okay, I can see some weird stares. That's fine. I think I can relate best to you when I started my big data journey in 2016, whereby at that time, I look at big data as something that's super strange to me, So we, from the construction industry, big data and data analytics is not our domain. So when you look at things that are related to big data, right, like analytics, networks, and then a lot of things like complex, these things are really it gives us this weird feeling of super scary, we don't want to dwell in it. And then if we think it's okay, I'll dig deeper to understand more. And then you find something, the word big data architecture. Because we are in construction industry, right? Architecture is something that's very relevant to us, the one who designs the project. But in big data, you Google data architecture, it gives out all these things like Hadoop, NA, SQL, and things like that. You'll be like, Zafira, no. And then you read some more, or you go and look up in Google, you find things related to big data, like data mining, insights, business analytics, and predictive modeling, and you'll be like, oh my God, what the hell is this thing you don't understand? And you just, okay, I'm done. I don't want to go into this, because it's super complex. I can relate best to you as well that not many people in the Malaysian construction industry, per se, contractor, actually understand what big data is. This is the recent data in 2021. We asked contractors in Malaysia, what is their understanding about big data? You see, 99% of them are actually clueless about what big data is. Like, Zafira, I tak pernah dengar those kind of things. So, and then 15% of them kind of get the idea of it. They say, oh, it's automation. Click there, boom, things happen, And then 5% actually understood that big data is the 3V characteristics, volume, velocity, and variety. And less than 1% actually truly understand what big data is, probably Kyle. It's a concept of data maximization where you analyze historical and real-time data to solve problems and make decisions. Okay. All right, so what is big data? Many of us tend to think big data is something super complex that you don't realize that big data is very seamlessly to our everyday life. So YouTube is one of the best examples on big data. Previously when you say we want to know something about somebody, we go into their Facebook or we WhatsApp them, we go on a date to meet them. But today, I think that's probably not the best solution to actually know someone. For me, if I want to know someone, I will just tell them, hey, can you share me your YouTube page? Like tengok, because your YouTube account is actually customized, curated for you. It's you. So basically, this is my YouTube homepage, and everything here on this screen is about me. If you see, I just had a baby 6 months ago, and my interest is interior designing. I love pretty things in life. So, and then I love traveling, which is why there's a video on traveling to Norway and stuff like that. And the rest is my work-related items lah. So basically, how YouTube big data is, whenever you go into YouTube, what you watch, or whether you pause, you fast forward, you don't watch it, you turn it into a new video, and whatsoever what you search, everything is recorded, and they use that data to understand you better and give you more relevant videos so that you keep on watching YouTube. So that is how YouTube create that tangibility and drive values for their customers lah. So in terms of organization-wise, so PNG is one of the best example on how organizations can use big data to leverage, deliver value for their business and also for their customers. So that's Filippo Passerini. He's the brainchild of big data in PNG. He's the CIO, previously CIO. So how they use big data is that they use Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to harness customer data. What do you think about this product? What you understand about this product? This particular geographical area, what is their inclination towards that product, the preferences and things like that. They learn this. So they have this like, okay, this person, this is their profile. This person, is this their profile? Things like that. So then they use that to influence marketing and sales decision to know, okay, in Malaysia, what product works? Is it Febreze? Is it Oral-B toothbrush or is it bath creams, stuff like that. So they can specifically tell you in Malaysia, this product that you have to sell more than the other PNG products. In Middle East, is a different set of products, and because the preferences, the market is different. So this is how they use big data to create value for their organization. And then supply chain data. It's not good for big brands, when you want to buy their products, but their products is not on shelf. So this is how they use big data to actually cater, to understand their production capacity, time, and vendor performance to make sure that they deliver the best value, quality for their customers. So all these leads to their R&D decision in terms of developing new products. So nak tengok, if you want to do more on the household department or more on healthcare and grooming department, which one has a better traction? So all this has made Filippo Passerini a very happy CIO. He's not like super stressed like the one beside him, because probably he has big data and all the data on his fingertips so that he can make instant decision. Okay, so with big data, it allows organization to understand their operation well and create efficiency. And the best part of it is to deliver value to their customers. All right? And how is this possible? Is because they have data. Data, historical data, real-time data, all on the tip of their hand. And with data, it comes with power. When you have data, when you know someone truly well, then you can get a hold of them, make them do things that you want them to do. Okay, so for the Malaysian construction industry, so this is where are we heading in terms of big data for the Malaysian construction industry. We have 3 phases. So currently, since 2016, we have been pushing the awareness of big data, and for now, I think the awareness has sort of improved. However, we are still at the creating big data punya stage lah, the first stage, which is trying to digitalize our information and having all those information in a platform which we can, further utilize later on. So with big data, we can have descriptive analytics where, there's no more construction data. You need to go back from site, go to the office and do your site report and everything. All those are automated. So you know what's the status of your project, where, when, how many projects are in problem. Those are the things automatically done for you to access the information. Second, you can have diagnostics. The descriptive and diagnostics analytics is the first and second phase. The predictive and prescriptive phase is on the maturity side when you revolutionize through big data lah. So where you can use trends and causation. This is when you can use predictive modeling to actually accurately come out with your costing of the budgeting of your project lah, basically. And then prescriptive is much more, what are the alternatives that if you want to do this, but then it doesn't match with your client requirements. So what are the alternatives, the best alternatives that is possible for you to take? All right, so essentially, the idea of big data is the interconnectedness between everything that happens on site and also everything that happens in the office as well. So you connect sensors data, data from your software, the BIM model, data from your iPad, and everything together. Then you tell me, Zafira, there's so much technology nowadays, advanced technology, everything. But in Malaysia, it's not so much. Not all technology is something that we use in daily basis, right? So just take the common one, yeah? Under the Construction 4.0 strategic plan by the CIDB, so sensors, drones, and CDE and BIM are the main common digital data that we have right now. So put that into context and have all that into a common data environment. You connect all this data, BIM drawing, connect to work schedules, connect to specification, reports, submittals, diary, everything into one platform. So what can you have? I mean, what are the benefits if you have big data? Is that if you look at these 2 pictures, right, this is the Harvard University building, JF Kennedy faculty. So the beauty about this project is it is derived from a social media data. So traditionally, when you want to build a building, right, the architect will come out with client requirements and design the buildings. But with this this time is a new, they use big data to actually harness Twitter data and also Instagram data to understand how the people in the university, particularly the students, move about in their campus. So then, which is why the entrance of this faculty is somewhat very biasa-biasa je, nothing like that. But the courtyard of this building is very fancy. You know why? Because they discover that the courtyard is where the people, the students mingle, the way where they jalan-jalan every day lah. So this has become the main entrance instead of the original main entrance, and this gives much more comfort for the people that is using this building. Similarly, a lot of consultants have actually use software to actually understand if you want to build like green building, things like that, what is the best orientation for them to get more sunlight to harness renewable energy. So all this can be simulated online, and then you can see, okay, what is orientation is the best orientation, and you can see the client can have a better idea of what are they getting in the future. So in the US, right, competitiveness among contractors is no longer based on price per se. The essential area is that they compete more on quality and the added values that they can give to their clients. So therefore, big data is being used for pre-qualification and contractor selection. So if they have started to move into this direction, so the contractors now should start to think of what they can give, how to maximize technology to deliver value to their clients instead of just, price differences. So with big data, it helps with real-time construction documentation, project planning and risk mitigation, safety planning and mitigation. These are the areas of big data that has fly off in terms of Malaysian context. So imagine if the data that I have, that I mentioned previously in the common data environment, if you can marry things like quality assessment conduct report with defect progress information and also information on subcons on the quality context, then you can have this idea of like, okay, what kind of designs that actually will promote better quality, what kind of subcontractor background that actually deliver better job than the rest. These kind of things. If you can marry weather report with project scheduling, you can better cater for during the times, monsoon season where rain comes, better manage your planning scheduling so that you won't have to apply for EOT and things like that. Safety is also one area that we want to know. The practices that we do on site, is that tally with the safety incident punya report? So when we see, then we know, whatever that we're doing is actually tak tally to the safety applications on site. So these are the areas of big data that we can explore. Okay, if you can tally all this information with financial data, such as budget amount, budget modification, revised budget, and committed costs, then only we can proceed to value-oriented estimating. You see, when I first started myself, as I'm a quantity surveyor by background, when I first worked, I remember we do these things like massage our costs once we did our PTE and stuff kan. Lepas tu, my boss would always say, Zafira, this one up a bit lah, this one down a bit lah. And I get super frustrated, like, he's the only one in the organization can do that. Not many of us can do that. And I always like, how do you know this thing? And he'll say, don't worry, Zafira, you'll get there one day. But then I'm thinking, because it comes with experience, right, to know all those hunches. But with big data, you can calculate that in a way is scientifically proven. We don't need any more hunches to actually tell, 7%. 21%, things like that, So with predictive analytics, we hope that big data can help much more construction professionals to raise up to that level instead of just doing very laborious work of like measurement, click, 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 click. Do measure, things like that. We need to improve the way we deliver services to improve the construction industry as per whole. So this is what big data is. The one that I mentioned, automated reports, all this. These are among the things I think the previous speaker has mentioned about this also, kan? So these are the real-time data that you can capture. instead of just doing a site report yang berjela-jela, I mean, we don't even know if that makes sense to us. But if you see bar charts like this, okay, lambat, merah, things like that, you see? Instant decision making. So why? What's the case for big data? So you see, 98 of mega projects in the world suffer cost overrun more than 30%. So that's a lot of money, like, spending just like that. All right, 77 of mega projects completed 40% off schedule, lambat. 57 construction professionals require consistent and real-time information. So this one has really reflect during the COVID pandemic. Yes, Joyce has mentioned COVID pandemic has really improved, supercharged the process of digitalization in the construction industry. There's something that's short about the construction industry. We have a lot of data. Tapi when making decision, 42% time spent for construction organisation to find for the data instead of finding solution to the problems that happens on site. So that delay will cost you much more time, much more financial implications lah. So, and lastly, 33% construction enterprises uses technology that doesn't integrate. Yes, cool. Some organisation has started to adopt technology, but in most cases that we see today, the technology that they use don't speak to each other. Just how like we are in the construction industry, everything's done in silo. So we need to have technology that is relevant to your job and speak within the technology so that you can create value out of that. All right? So, like I mentioned before, data comes with power, and power allows you to be competitive. So this is Michael E. Porter. So he's sort of like the father of business. If you're more on a business area, so he's the father of competitive studies in business lah, basically. So he says in doing business, there's two parts for you to make money lah, make a lot of return. Cost advantage and differentiation advantage. The best part is when you're able to sampai at differentiation advantage, tapi you are the pioneer. You see, we have 4 innovation waves. Sekarang we are at innovation wave 4.0, but in Malaysia, probably we are somewhat 3.5 lah. So most of us today, we are still at this one. Business as usual is priority, but it comes with a cost. So competitiveness between contractors are very, very high. So you see, so in order for us, and there's something that, technology over the years, technology changes really fast. So over the years, technology will be much more cheaper times to come lah. So if we move towards 2020, should be now 2022 to 2025, we have to move about differentiation advantage. We have to shift. There is a shift in market dominance. You see, now technology is taking into place and things like that. So if you're staying comfortable doing what you do now, you probably will stuck at cost advantage. And when everybody has shifted towards the market dominance, if you are still here, then proven by the theory lah, he will say your business will become irrelevant. So the question is it's just for us today to actually reflect on our business strategy and business model as contractors to see where are we comfortable at what we're doing today, and if we're not, what are we going to do to be sustainable in the future? I guess that's it for me today. Yeah, MCs, are you ready? All right, thank you.
All right, that was a very insightful presentation from Dr. Zafira. Thank you very much. Let's give her a big round of applause again. Okay, big data has been in the industry for quite some time already. The application is there, but not everybody uses that, right? So we need to keep ourselves up with the tyrants, the digital tyrants out there, right? So next up, let us welcome Technologist Amirul Izzat, Country Product Manager of Glodon Malaysia. And he will be speaking on the topic of the transformation of the digital cost management for construction enterprise. Let us invite Technologist Amirul with a warm welcome. The floor is yours.
All right, thank you very much, Keen and also Chester. All right, so how are you guys doing? Doing good? All right? Okay, great to hear that. Okay, to be honest, it's very great to be here today after so long. Just like Joyce mentioned just now, we It's very awkward to talk in front of laptop for 3 years. We're doing a webinar. So finally, it's good to be here, talking at the front, in front of the real audience. Okay, so thank you for coming for this symposium. All right, so I believe that all of you already listened to core presentation just now. It's about the overall technology. And you already see presentation from Dr. Zafira. Okay, she's also mentioning about how big data can help the contractor performance, right? So for my presentations, we narrow down a bit on the scope, and we're going to talk about the cost management, right? So my sessions, I'm going to talk about the transformation of the digital cost management for construction enterprises, right? So basically, right, in today's agenda, right, we're going to address the three questions, right? The first one is, what is digital cost? And why we need to go to that directions? And finally, how to do that? Basically, that 3 questions, which is very important to address. Okay, so first thing first, we need to make sure that everyone in the same page. We are going to use the same language. What is digital cost? Yeah? So I believe that all of you here, maybe whether direct or indirectly, you have been involved in cost management activities. So if we refer to the Associations of American Engineers, AECE, digital cost management is about the activities, a series of activities that involve of planning, budgeting, controlling, and also analyzing. So we already have one, on our one hand, we already have a digital technologies, and we need another one hand is a cost management. So when we combine it, it becomes the business plan strategy by using all this technology, this available technology, whether BIM, cloud computing, big data, and also artificial intelligence, with one purpose, which is we want to transform the project cost information. All right, so we go to the next question, which is very important. Why? Why we need to go to that direction? Everything that we want to do must have a reason behind it, right? So why? So the first reason is because of the current state of our construction industry. I believe all of you already know what is happening in our industry. We are talking about a lot of issues, right? We are talking about what? About the fragmented issues, we're talking about the labor issue, we're talking about this productivity issue, and so on. Right, so if we look, we need the indicators. Where are we now? Where is Malaysia now? So if we look at this report on the left, right, you can see that we have, we call it as Economic Complexity Index, and we look that we have another country as our benchmark. So we have China, we have Thailand, we have Malaysia, and also we have Philippines. So if you look at other countries, there is an obvious movement. It means that the improvement is obvious. Okay, we look at China. Okay, don't compare China for at the time being. Okay, just compare like Thailand and Philippines, our countries. So you see that they have fluctuations, right? The improvement is there. But for Malaysia, I'm not saying that Malaysia is not is doing bad. No, actually it's quite good. But the improvement is stagnant. If you compare from 2006 until to 2018, you can see that there is no much different in terms of our improvement. And another indicator, we look on the right side. Okay, if we look at this 3 report, we have digital competitiveness ranking, we have competitiveness index, and also innovation index. These 3 reports actually show the same thing, which is we are doing bad compared to 2019 and 2015. 2019, we are going down compared to 2015. And if we look, thanks to government, we can see that government never stop put effort. Thanks to government, they come out with a lot of policies. For example, like construction strategic 4.0 strategic plan, and latest one we have National Construction Policy 2030, and CIDB pump in lots of millions to make sure that our construction industry is moving forward. Right. So the second reason why is that because of the competition. Yeah, because there's a lot of research showing that the company that have adopting technology have a competitive advantage, right? So if you look at this report, it's from CIDB 2021. Okay, you just focus on the numbers of the registered contractors. This report showing the figure of the registered contractors. And if you look at 2014, we have around 68,000 contractors registered with CIDB. And when we look at the 2020, we have around 121,000. You see how many percentage has been increased, the number of registration. However, when we look at this report, which is showing you the value of public and private sector projects in billion, you just highlight on the 2016, we have around 276 billion of project, but when it comes to 2020, it's only 68 billions of project. So what happened is that there is a contradict movement between the registrations of the contractor, which is increasing about 78%, but when it comes to value of the project, it's decreasing about negative 75%. So what happened is that in this kind of situations, it will bring contractor to a two situation. The first situation is that we have too much competition because we have a large numbers of contractors, but we fight each other to bid for a very limited project. So what happened is that most of the contractors will use the concept of red ocean strategy, which is we bid lower price. The lower that we got is better because we have no choice. We want to make sure that our business survive, right? That is from the point of view of the contractors. And this situation will bring to another situation whereby there is a low profit margin because of you keep put lower price and lower price. However, the low profit margin is low, but at the same time, the risk is the same. Ideally, the ideal concept is that you should get paid according to the risk that you carry. The higher the risk, the higher you pay. But in this case, it's not, which is you have the same risk, but your margin, your profit margin is getting lower. And this, what happened is that will give you two impacts. The first impact in terms of the SIC project numbers will go up, as well as the project abundance also go up, which is this is not good for our economy, and it's not good for our country, it's not good for our construction industry. And the final reason is because of the digital wave around the world. We're talking about trend, you can see that more and more demand flexible working hours, work from home. And you can see a major city like London, also, they already implement 4 working days, from 5 working days. And Malaysia already started to study that model. Yeah, but I'm not sure when will be implemented. And hopefully, as fast as they can, it's better, right? So, and because of that, right, because of the demand that we need, like flexible working hours, working from home, so it's very important for the company to have what we call it is online-oriented solutions or platform. Okay, so that we are talking about like collaborative management, performance management, online meeting, and so on. So it's very, very important because of we want to make sure that the business owner can quickly achieve the refined management. Now, we go to the next question, which is very, very important, is the question of how. How we can achieve the digital transformation, right? The first thing first, the business, you need to get ready to prepare for these 4 steps, okay? So the first one, we need to determine our starting point. How we are going to determine our starting point is we need to relook back the process inside our business, which the process is already digitalized, which process is still automatic, and so on. And the best way is to tackle, you look at the process and you need to look which process consists of higher operations and the most simplest transformation, that one you need to tackle first. The next one, you can go for the determine the priority. Because of technology, we cannot done it overnight. It must be implemented phase by phase, right? So the beauty about the technology is that it's just like you playing Legos and you're playing building blocks, which is you can upgrade anytime. You can integrate step by step. And the next one, which is you need to build up a roadmap. This roadmap must consist of must set a realistic objective. You need to plan your strategy, how your change management is going to be implemented, and so on. And this roadmap must be communicate with all the stakeholders inside your company, which is we need to prepare our teams. Because of the benefit of the technologies is that we want to reduce a duplicate works. So we need to involve so many staff during our implementation. So business, we need to learn from our staff, whether what is their response and so on, right? What is their suggestion? Because of technology, it's not just about the journey of the technology, it's about journey of the people. We need to give them some times to adapt all this kind of technology. And the most important part is that it must be holistically involved. Everyone is involved inside the implementation process. So once we already embark our digitalization's journey, we will see what is the stages that we are going through. Basically, we have 4. The first one, we call it as the initial stage. This is where the digitalization will be implemented at the job level. The costing, the measurement, and so on at the job level. So once it's already reached the maturity, it's matured, we go to the second level, we call it as the intermediate stage. Intermediate stage, we are talking about the organization level, departmental level, like tendering process and so on must be digitalized. Once it's matured, we go to the third level, we call it as the advanced stage. This is where we are talking about the organization level. The whole organization must be digitalized. And once it's matured, it's reached maturity, we are going through the ultimate stage. This is where we want to go. We call it as the ultimate stage. The ultimate stage is that each of the company already adopted digitalization, and it's easier to form an ecological chain. It means that the communication between one organization with one organization is more efficient, more systematic. So what happens is that all the informations can be shared, whether from consultant to contractor, contractor to subcontractor, and so on. Right. And the next one, if we look at the process of the life cycle, we believe that the best entry point for the digital transformation is during tendering stage. Why? There's several reasons. The first reason, because of during the tendering stage is quite independent. It's independent in terms of the job scope, in terms of the business content is quite fixed, so it's much easier to form independent digital module. The second reason is because of the, during this stage, we have a lot of cost informations. So the information has been accumulated, so it's much easier to empower the subsequent stage. And the third reason is because of during tendering stage, we involve so many roles. We have multiple roles during a tendering stage. So what happens is that it can help the enterprise to form, we call it as the ecological chain, because everyone already involved during the tendering stage. So it's much easier for us to form the ecological chain. All right, so this one also very important. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter whether you want to build a system. Sometimes people call software, sometimes people call as a process. It doesn't matter what system that you want to build in your company, it must be fulfill this kind of requirement. We have several layers. The first layer, the system must capable to manage the user as well as the permission so that they can collaborate within one platform. That is one thing. So once we already reach at the second level, which is the first stage, it's not necessarily for us to implement to all projects. It's too ambitious. Maybe we can start with a small project first, we call it as the pilot project. And from there, we can come out with a list of which one we need to improve. It's a lesson learned and so on. So during the first stage, let's say you have other technology that you want to use, like quantity takeoff technology, the solutions, costing, addendum version, and so on. So all these things must be do within one system. And once we already have that, we already established that system, it will be much easier for us to go for the second layer, which is you can implement to other projects as well. Because what? You already have you already have a standard library, you already have cumulative data and so on. And from here, since that you already have a collection of the data, it's much easier if you want to build a library. It's very much easier if you want to perform analysis like graph analysis, trend, you can see from the trend and so on. All right, so from Glodon's side, okay, we have one solutions that known as the QBCOS TBQC4, which is this QBCOS TBQC4 fulfill whatever the requirements that I mentioned just now, and it's being designed to standardize costs across the project, and also capable to do the real-time visibility and traceability of costs. We also capable to do the collaborative environment, and finally we also can do a better decision-making because of we have a technology to generate a trend and so on. So we can conclude that TBQC4 is a centralized and also can manage all the costs and build up enterprise database on the unified platform. All right, so next. Once we already prepare the 4 steps that I mentioned just now, we already see how many layers, how many stages that we're going through, where is the suitable starting point. So once we already implement it, okay, we were going to see what is the challenges that we are going to face. And what is the biggest challenge that we will face? The first one, if you look any research, study, report like McKinsey and so on, you will notice that some company will fail or at least stagnant, means there is no much improvement. And that situation is very rare because of the technical issues, because of technology. No, most of it is something to do, the problem comes from cultural issues, people's mentality, because come from people, most of it. So to make sure that we are not going to face this kind of challenges, is very important for our for the management, okay, to come up with a roadmap that consists of the realistic objective. Need to use the accurate strategy and so on. It's very, very important. All right, this is the data that we get from our R&D, which is we study the impact of the cost, digital cost management towards the project performance. We notice that in terms of the work efficiency, we can achieve about 80%. Yeah, in terms of the communication time, it's about 40%. 30% we can, in terms of the energy saving, okay, 35% on the quality of work, and 60% our decision can be made according to the insightful data. And because of this, Glodon believe that this is the trend, this is the direction that we want to go. So that's why we always lead our client to go to this direction. Because we believe that the macro, okay, that consists of the all elements, all process, and all people, it must be integrated with the 3 drivers, which is digitization, connection, and intelligence, so that we can bring it to totally a new world, which is we are talking about new industry, new design, new construction, and also new maintenance. So because of that, Glodon has come up with our blueprint. This blueprint, basically, the idea is that we want to integrate all the process that covers the whole life cycle, start from the inception until to the operational phase. And this process or this life cycle, basically each of the stage, we're able to generate the cost plan, cost development, cost update, control, and cost summary, and we also can generate a report, all this cost data, procurement, construction, maintenance, and operation. And this blueprint should be integrated back with the organization's business integration on your strategy and so on. So right, so basically I already end at the end of my presentation. So I would like to recap back, right? So in summary, I already explained to you what digital cost is all about, right? Then we already see why we need to go to that direction. We have several reasons why we need to go to that directions. And I already addressed on the question of how we can achieve the digital transformation. So before I end my presentations, I would like to emphasize one more time. Yeah. So please bear in mind that actually it is possible for the contractor to uplift the performance by adopting digital technologies. And I really hope, and I believe this is all of our hopes. We share the same hope. One day, one fine day, yeah, we can proudly say that We are contractor from Malaysia, and we did it. We already in the most productive sector in the world. So that's all. I pass back to MC. Thank you very much.
Let us give another round of applause to our country director on that, very informative presentation. So, Kin, what is now next?
Well, we have to give yourself a round of applause also for staying this far, right? How's everyone holding up there? Okay? Everyone doing good? Show me a thumbs up. All right, great. Now, at the peak of this symposium, we are moving on to the next very interesting topic. The main topic, uplifting contractors' performance with digital technology.
I guess this is what everybody's waiting for, the gist of this symposium. So without further ado, let me invite Miss Ju, where she is going to host our symposium. So Miss Ju, our Customer Success Director, Miss Ju, come up the stage.
So today, for the panel discussion, we also open the Q&A for you guys to ask the questions to our panelists. So there will be crews that will be on duty. They will hand over the mic to you for you to ask questions. Or if, let's say, you want to remain anonymous, you can also jot down the question on a piece of paper. You can get the paper from our crews. Then the crews will be pass me the paper, so I'll be reading your questions. All right? So now, for today, together with me, we have 5 panelists that will be together discussing about the uplifting contractors' performance with digital technology. So without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Chiu Siak Kor, Glodon Channel Empowerment Director. Technologies Amirul Izzat, Glodon Country Product Manager. We have Mr. Chua Lu Sheng, Glodon Country Product Manager. And we are very honored to have Dr. Zafira Nadia, Senior Lecturer of UTM. And we have Mr. Carl Yu, Digital Lead of Gamuda Engineering. Please welcome. Right. Have a seat, guys. Thank you so much, panelists, for being with us today. Okay, right. Is microphone okay? Now, in digital era of transformation, the use of digital technologies have already widely recognized and have advanced more rapidly than any other innovations that we have in the industry. It's true that the use of digital technologies have impacting a lot of sectors, including those algae culture, automotive, and then we have aviation, not to mention construction industry as well. Now, looking back at 10 years ago, actually our construction industry have already emerged in this digital transformation where the use of digital technology has been widely used by the construction firms, by the people on site, where they use a smartphone to take photos, to record videos, and then do live reporting at the construction site, and then send the videos to the managers and so on, right? Then they also people that use a smartphone to share files, share documents, right? Back then, 10 years ago, we're talking about 10 years ago. And then the use of drones at that time, has been also widely starting to starting to use, all right, to monitor the progress side, and then laser scanner, right, widely used right now for the site mapping for the land survey. So the use of digital technologies have already started way back, right? And now it's becoming more normal. And it's when we talk about pandemic, I think it's become more important to us, right? We are now meeting everybody experience we have meeting through Zoom, okay, Microsoft Teams and everything. So the use of digital technology has been, advancing a lot after the pandemic hits. All right, so, and there are cases, there are study proven that the use of digital technology and then the transformation among our construction firms basically higher, more favorable to client and also consultants. Actually, this is fact. There are studies proven. So today we are talking about what about the contractors. So what are the states of the digital adoption among our contractors in our country right now? Let's put that focus into our discussion today. Right, so panelists, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Now, before we go into more detail about our discussion, let's go into the surface of the issue. Now, what do you guys think on the current state of the digital transformation among our contractors in our country? Perhaps maybe Core, you can share on that.
Sure. So basically in the earlier sharing, I have also been including that how the digital technology being used by the various types of applications, where how the contractor actually use it for labor management, supplies management, so on and so forth. We deployed Internet of Things to immediately convert site information, site condition into binary data and transfer it over through internet connectivity and condense it over into a database and run intelligence analytics on it. So basically, we have already come on to an age that intelligent analytics is just a normal piece of work processes in the construction industry nowadays. But looking at it, we in Malaysian construction industry, if we are looking into the focus, in the comparison, we are still rooms for improvement to actually move all the way over to until then. So although the technology is available, then there are actually, like I said, in the earlier stage, there are about more than hundreds of projects has already been implementing digital technology. All of them, we are picking 25 cases to look into it, and they are very well funded with, very well grounded with the technology applications. So it's getting normal, I would say, digital technology applications, but Malaysian construction industry is still steps towards for adoptions. Yeah.
Right. Thanks, Carl, for that. Now, we see that this, we understand from your sharing just now that the digital adoption among the contractors might be slower than the clients or consultants, we can say. Now, how do you see the use of digital technology after the pandemic? Would it, like making it any improvement in terms of the rate of adoption?
To be honest, it does. In fact, whatever, there are something like you have mentioned earlier, we have more online meetings, and then we use Microsoft Offices to coordinate. Nowadays, we are sharing files through cloud drives. Cloud drives is nothing more like, when you talk about cloud, people back then 5 years ago, you were like, huh, cloud? The day wasn't that cloudy yet. So, but nowadays, when we talk about, you can share me over through clouds, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna upload through my smartphone or, get you into a bit. So it's getting well familiar. However, when we compare with the entire digital transformation that the three drivers that we are looking into, the digitization, the internet connectivity, and lastly, the internet intelligence applications, we are still, there are rooms for improvements. Those, McKinsey actually came out with 2 reports that actually been pointed at the year 2021. They found out that the joke made earlier about COVID leads the technology applications. It's not a joke, it's a reality. Where McKinsey has their report has proven, practically COVID actually brings front of the digital technology applications. And whoever left behind, it's going to have a very bad competitions. So we are still at the bad competition stage, and I'm looking forward we can actually move forward more.
You're right. Thank you so much, Carl, for that. Now, Amirul, the handsome guy sitting beside me here. Okay, I got questions for you. Now, in your presentation just now, you're mentioning a lot about the digital cost management, right? So, you also mentioned that among our construction stakeholders, they are already some of the construction firms that have already implementing, right? So is it from the consultant or contractors? What is the adoption, the current state of the digital cost management among the contractors, if you can share?
Okay, Ju, thank you very much for the questions. Okay, the current state, yeah? Okay, if you look at this in terms of which category, whether consultants and the contractors, okay, there's a lot of report actually mentions this, whether you are reading National Construction Policy 2030, Strategic Plan 2030, DASA for IR and so on. Actually, all this report already mentioned about this current state, right? So in terms of the consultant, we can say consultant is much higher in terms of the adoptions rate. But when it comes to the contractors, it's quite lower, yeah? However, but when we are talking about the awareness, yeah, awareness, I can say that awareness is increasing every day. Yeah, I think Dr. Zafira also agree with me because of Dr. Zafira always conducted all this webinar, and we can see that the participants is increasing every day from day to day. But whether the participant attend to see about the technology or just to see Dr. Zafira, that one I'm not sure lah. But in terms of the trend, yeah, so the trend is increasing in terms of awareness. However, despite that the awareness is increasing, but the report mentions about adoption is different. It stated that the contractor is still low in terms of adoption. So actually this actually indicate us something, new information. What is indicate? It means that the awareness is increasing, but they are not sure how to start, what to do. Yeah, because of the awareness increasing, but the adoption is low because of they know where to start, how to do it. So instead of we focusing on awareness and so on, right? So maybe in the future, maybe we should focus on how to help the contractors to implement the adoption technology. So to answer back your question, yes, consultant is much higher in terms of adoption. Contractors a bit slower. Like Ko also mentioned just now, we have lots of room to improve, and also awareness is increasing, and also we need to address on the question of how after this. Okay.
Right. Thank you so much. So, audience, we already understand right now generally the state of digital transformation among the contractors generally is low, and when we look into the digital cost management, also low, right? That is the issue that we have already addressed. Now, I'm pretty sure that all this lead into why, right? Why is this happening? It must be a reason why the adoption is low, correct? So panelists, can you share with our audience actually why the adoptions of this digital technology among the contractors is still low? So perhaps anyone can share?
Okay, probably I can take this question. I do agree that the awareness on big data when we first started for the Malaysian construction industry 2016 was really blur, but it has been coming vividly okay. The awareness is there, but the question now is, what can we do? What's next after the awareness? How? And why is it still low, right? So I think there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 5 areas that research has proven on why the adoption is still low. First thing first, we looked into the key area on digitalization is data. So first, data, previously 2016 up to 2019, data are still in conventional format. See, not many of our data is digital. Okay, BIM is there, but yeah, other than that, data are still in traditional format, but thank God for COVID. So not in sense of everything, but thank God for COVID that it has spurred the digitalization efforts from all construction organizations. That's one. But as we feel happy that more data are available in digital format, we are seeing trends that data are not in good quality. When you want to make decisions, we want to derive the data insights, right? Big data insights to help you make decisions. We need to have good quality data. But the problem is now that there is lack of standardization. We have standardization, but the adoption of standardization to create that data is rather not there yet. So because data created are not standardized, it doesn't truly reflect what it's supposed to mean. And when we embark on data journey, right, these data are called not so good quality data lah. So we then have to filter all this data, and so sayang lah, we can't use this data, and left with super little amount of data for us to make insights. So that part has to be remedied. That's for data. And in terms of data sharing, that one has to be improved lah. We of course know, like in our construction, collaboration, data sharing is something that we feel very foreign. I understand. But I think it's time for us to actually rethink back. If we can gain much more value for our business interests if we collaborate data, that would be a journey that we have to take in the future. Second part is, I think, people. Right? In terms of people, of course, first, we need to have skills that can think through innovative analytical thinking. But that one is okay. We can have people from data science, data engineering to help us in that area and supported by our technical expertise. But the important part is to have people, the right set of people to actually use the system and adopt the output of the system into their work processes every day, data workflow. See, a lot of organizations have invested a few hundred thousands of amount of investment to sustain their digital adoption. Tapinya, the digital adoption that they use tak support with their workflow. Hence, you don't see the value. This is why organizations say, Zafira, we invest on technology, but we don't see the value. Reason why is because it's not seamlessly integrated with your workflow, and you don't use the product, the outcome of the technology adoption to make decision. That's two. The third part is we have technology, as I highlighted previously in my presentation. We have adopted technology, good for you, but the technology doesn't talk to each other. Okay, what's the point of us having automated reporting? Tapi it doesn't jive with the financial aspect. It doesn't jive with the core of the business itself. How do you generate money for your organization? So we need to have technology that is flexible enough, that is able to communicate within each other. For instance, if bahasa pasar dia drag and drop, convert this and that, those kind of flexibility helps you to connect this data. The power part of data that I mentioned previously is when you're able to connect this data and help you to make decision. That's the valuable part. If you have technology, pakai, but it's just stand alone, it doesn't mean anything for your organization, and that's a waste. And then the next part is people in power. So the C-suite level, in Malaysia, the reality is that technology adoption or anything per se is always top down. Okay, so we realize that through research as well. So what we see is that we need people in C-suites to actually have this data-driven mindset, so that we can change the culture in the organization, so that we can have fixed investments for technology, and also to make sure that organization, everybody use the technology. Some people, we are comfortable in using our spreadsheets. Why do we need to merge? Why we need to move, Zafira? Then you kena kat sini kena include, kat sini kena include. Is such a waste of my time, and I don't have the time to do that. So this is where top level management vision on digitalization is very, very important, because we see investment on technology in most Malaysian organizations is one-off. But technology, to sustainable technology is not just one-off investment. It has to be other maintenance. So that part also we have to see lah. So I think that wraps up for the most part on why contractors or even even construction organization, not contractors per se, have the difficulty to embark on digitalization, let alone big data.
Not to say, if let's say you can elaborate a little bit more on we know that to adopt this digital technology, we need investment plan, right? What do you think on that? Maybe it is actually one of the challenges that our contractors are facing right now?
I have to agree, sadly. But to me, investment is to push technology in the industry. It takes two to tango lah. It cannot be just the
contractor alone. I think the government has to play a part also to give maybe incentives or whatsoever kind of packages to ensure that they are equipped with the capability to invest. Itu satu. And I think that you have to find the right technology for your organization's size. Because yes, a lot of people say, Zafira, not everybody is G7. We can afford this kind of investment. But there are different sets of technology that you can use within your size of organization and help you digitalize. What we see is that in 2020, we did a research to see after the pandemic how people use free technology. So a lot of people embark on Microsoft Teams, right? The OneDrive solution. They use G Drive to help them sustain throughout the pandemic session. And we did a follow-up study a few months ago, and we see that these people now are already hooked up in using technology, and they want more, and they say, what kind of technology that is available for them to actually give that extra edge for them to do more for their organization. So I think it's to take one step at a time and also find the right technology within your size of your organization to start with.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Z. Now, talking about M&E sector, Mr. Lucian, as you are the country product manager in M&E. So what do we see now for contractors, the challenges, or we can say the obstacles to adopt this digital technology?
All right, thanks, Ju. I think to address this issue, we should first maybe shed some light on how the current tendering practices are in the M&E sector. All right, since we have like a variety of guests with us today. So first of all, we have our M&E consultants, right, who will be doing all the engineering designs for tendering purposes. Right, so I think in terms of digital technology adoption, they have the highest rate as they need to utilize software such as Revit, AutoCAD, or other calculation software to actually come up with their engineering design to call for tender. Right, but in terms of cost management solutions, in terms of these kinds of solutions, they are rather on the low side, right? Because usually for M&E consultants, they'll be mostly focusing on how to come up with the engineering designs, right? So they'll just leave the costing and measurement works to the contractors instead, right? So on that note, for contractors, right, so I believe that a high percentage of the M&E projects in Malaysia are mostly directly nominated to subcontractors, right, meaning to say a lot of projects are directly tendered to the subcontractors, right? So in terms of like cost management solutions, I would say that this would appeal the most for the subcontractors, right, as they need to come out with a very accurate bill of quantities to control their costs and also to ultimately maximize their profit, right? So, but I think that the adoption rate for the digital cost management solutions is actually quite low among subcontractors, right? Because due to certain constraints such as insufficient time or resources to actually take up a new software, or something like they're already too accustomed to their ways of doing their measurement works, like manual quantity takeoff, right? And also in other cases, we'll have main contractors who will take up the entire M&E project, and then they'll sub it out to their individual subcontractors, right? So in this case, I think the biggest obstacle here to adopt a digital cost management solution is when these main contractors, they rely entirely or rely too heavily on their subcontractors' quantities, right? Usually this is the case when they have too many tenders, right? Or they have insufficient resources to actually do cross-checking works on the subcontractors' quantities, right? So in the end, I think this will lead to like certain disputes during work progress claims or like site work coordination. Right, so I think back to the question, even though the adoption rate for digital cost management solution is still low among the M&E side, but I believe like in light of recent years with the growing demand for BIM-based projects, I believe the need for these kinds of management, cost management solutions will be growing more significant and more evident. Right, so I hope that answers your question, Ju.
Right. Thank you for bringing this up, Lucian. So actually you shared something today that for digital transformation, I think for M&E sector, we should go into, look into the subcontractors, right? Because they are the one that really, use all this. Yeah, thank you so much on that. So, panelists, now as we see a lot of obstacles, challenges here and there, to adopt this digital technology, why do we still need this digital transformation?
Yeah, so perhaps I can answer that. So like what Lucian actually shared earlier is that we actually have the situation in Malaysia where main contractor will transfer to all the way to subcontractors, and it actually makes up the workload for such a size of a subcontractors. So with that, it actually lowers down the quality of services they can actually provide. Then earlier on, I've been mentioning in the slides where in the recent research, actually there are researchers found out that every lowering down of 10% productivity will actually cause a 5% profitability loss. So in order to avoid such losses, we actually need a higher productivity level, and there are many research proven. I do not need to mention it all out, but even there is one, it actually caught my attention very well. Technology application will, not to say, the research paper promisingly will increase 260% of productivity. So indeed, even say for example, just now where the case that a subcontractor will suffer with a lot of workload and jeopardize with the quality of works they can provide. So digital technology application is compulsory to actually improve our productivity. I cannot promise 260%, but at least we are trying to improve ourselves. At least we are trying to secure the 10% and it equivalent to our 5% of profitability. That is what the key that we need the digital transformation.
Right. Thanks, Ko. Yeah, I think it's indeed, productivity influence the profitability, right? The more the productivity, right, the higher the output of the work, and the more the company can get profitability gain from it. Talking about business, of course, everybody, of course, aim for higher profitability, right? So, yeah, coming to this questions, Carl, now to extend the from what Core has explained just now, that productivity really proven that can, accelerate the number of the profitability. How actually we can improve the productivity? What are the factors that we need to look into consideration to help our contractors today to improve the productivity?
Okay, when you talk about productivity, there are sort of many components, right? From what I see, there are three major ones, right? You should be looking at the people itself, you should be looking at the tools itself, and you should be looking at the processes itself. So with these three major combinations, you should be able to achieve a better productivity. So one study has been made recently between BMW and NVIDIA, okay, in their car manufacturing plant. Okay, so what happened is they try to find out what's the best way or environment or so on to improve the productivity in a car manufacturing plant, and they found something very different. Okay, all this actually depends on the people happiness. Okay, whether the people itself, the workers itself working there, feeling better, right, working in that environment. So this is something very different. So what they did was they go a bit more high level with more automations. They use AI as well. So to learn about, even people working there, they felt they need the rest, fatigue, whatever it is, they need to walk out. And the AI is able to sense it, and the robots will try to harmonize with that sense as well. Okay, this is something very different. So, but when they look at this, the people itself is sort of, they blend in with the environment. They understand, oh, yeah, I'm actually happy now because everything I work with me, not against me. Okay, so that actually increases the productivity. But doesn't mean that he leaves or he left that station, the productivity go down, but not, because the quality increases. The way that they look at it, the way they work, right, increases. So the productivity is increased as well. Okay, but when you talk about QS side, very different story lah. Okay, so when you ask a QS, traditional QS, right? With advanced tools, with all this, you can get good productivity. They will say, bullshit lah, you. Okay? My Excel is the best. Okay? My Excel has all my rates in there, okay? Yeah. With your advanced tool, you take time, ages, I have to spend money, I have to spend my resources, a lot of effort, just to get there, Mine, you see, my Excel sheet, okay? But the problem is, these people have it in their brain. They are the only one who knows how to decode the Excel sheet, right? And it's not only one Excel sheet. One Excel sheet links to a few more Excel sheets. Right? God knows how many Excel sheets. Where are they? I also don't know. Okay? So it's not easy to look at, in that point. If this person with all the things inside his brain, with all the skill there, left, retired, what happens next? Right? Gone. Okay? So it's actually very important to look at what I mentioned, right? You need to have the tools. You need to have the suitable tools. Okay? Not the best tools. Don't go for the best of the best tools, right? Because it depends on your business now. It depends on your people. Okay? Your people needs to understand the tools. You need to work with the tools, not fight with the tools. Okay? So you need the right tools or the suitable tools, not the best of the best. Okay? You also need to know how to improve your processes, right? How to make it more efficient. Let's say your process is you need to go through A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay? Look at it. Work together. Hey, can I take the CDE, take it out and becomes CDE? Okay? A, B, straight to F. Right? You can. Work on that, how to make it more efficient in the process. But the third thing is the most important thing, the people itself, right? You need to have motivated people. You need to have people who have passion, who's loving the job, right? Who likes to use the tools, right? If you give this tool to these people, they will do amazing stuff, right? They will do amazing stuff. So with these tools, processes, and people, what do you get? You get data. Right? You get data, big data, right? And also you will get, what else? Let me see. These are very good paper, cards. You will get culture, digital culture. What you need is that, right? In any organization, if you do not have that type of culture, it's very hard to move forward. Okay. Finally, when you get data, you get your culture, you get efficiencies as well. Okay. So this is what you're looking for. All right. See what's next. Yeah. In terms of people itself, you need to grow that culture. Okay. It's not like most of the time when you look at an organization, they come back and tell you, okay, I already got the tools, I already got the people working the process, I got my great people. Next week, productivity went up 200%. Can? No way. Okay, no such thing. It needs time and effort, right? Besides the cost, okay? It needs time and effort. So you need to build up that culture. But before you build up that culture, you need to give awareness. That's why you're here today. Okay? You need to understand what you have, what you can use, what you can do, right? What is out there, right? What is your vision, right? So that awareness is important. So from that awareness, you can build out your people, your digital culture using design thinking workshops, hackathons, and all those. Bring those people up, Let them understand what digitalization is. It's not a scary thing, okay? It's not going to kill their Excel, okay? And the other thing is, you have all these tools, you have all these people, there's always gaps between, you know. You have fantastic tools there, you have the right tools, that person, you have right tools with this group of people, but they don't talk to each other. You need to bridge those gaps, right? Because tools to tools, there's a gap. People to tools, there's also a gap, right? You have to find the right tools that is user-friendly. You know, QS will say, this software not user-friendly. Excel is the best. Okay? So you have to find something that is user-friendly. Okay? That will bridge the gaps. You also have to find something that help them to enter data. When you do a lot of digitalization or digital transformation work, right? When they say digital transformation, it's like transform one to another. But I would define it digital journey. It's not so much of transformation. It's a journey you need to take. It's not going to take 2 or 3 days. It's going to take some time. Okay, so when all this happens, they start to feel the pain. If you take in the wrong software, they need to key in here, there, right? Here, there. Instead of helping them, you're killing them. Okay, so it's good to bridge that gaps as well, right? So that gaps, you can use things like RPA, robotic process automation, right? If you have very good software like Glodon. Glodon, one thing good about it is you can do model to quantify. No other software out there can do model to quantify. Okay, so this is something that is useful because a lot of time users are doing the familiar way they have been doing, right? So when you start to bridge that gaps, it makes them easier, right? And when you come to this already, you are should I say, more productive, okay? You will be able to optimize your costs, right? You will be able to bring more values, right? So you also can, sort of look at new business model, right? You can do a lot more things with all these tools, with the process that you have, with the people, the most important one. But again, takes time, takes effort, besides the cost, okay? But when you ask around, everybody will say, no budget. No budget. But it's not about budget. It's your investment into the future. If you don't do it now, when? Right? So you have to look at this. You have to gauge this, right? And it's not to say it's easy. It's not easy. It takes time. See, it takes time, it takes effort, and money. Okay, but think of it as an investment, not a budget. Okay.
Great sharing, Carl. Thank you so much for that. Now, when we talk about productivity, it's actually so relatable that most of us will only think about digital technology, right? Only, that drive to the productivity. We use digital technology, then our productivity will be high. So, but when you share on this, actually it's enlightened us that productivity need more than that. It doesn't, digital technology cannot promise the productivity. It needs more than that. The right people, with the culture, with the right tools, right? Thank you so much, Carl, for that. Now, coming back to big data, that is it. Okay, so we know that construction industry have too much data, right? And then these data are actually scattered, So how do you recommend to our contractors today to better manage the data so that they can reap the full benefit of this digitalization?
I think that it relates to the first presentation that I did, is that data here, data there, data everywhere, kan Carl? Our hands are like octopus. Because for me, I think the best way is that we need to have one place for us to access the data. And last time I used to remember when I started working also, they say, QS, if we omit this thing, what's the cost impact? Then we all be like, kejap. We'll get back to you in a while or some things like that. We don't want that in today's era, of course. In order for you to achieve to that level, you need to have data that is accessible to you right now, real-time data. And you want data that is historical data from the origin that you adopt digitalization and probably 20 years down the road. Because this amount of prolonged data is the only way that you can get accurate decision makings, accurate costs, accurate project scheduling, accurate estimates, things like that. So what is important is actually to have a centralized data repository, but not essentially ERP, I guess. A lot of people a lot of organizations in the construction industry who has digitalized, they feel that when they have ERP, I think you can agree. That
Definitely.
is rest in peace already. But that's not it, because our construction industry is so special, it's so niche that it caters different way of organizing the data and making sense of the data. And people say, Zafira, if everything can be automated, then I nak buat apa? That's why people shy away from digitalization. But no, the reason why we need digitalization is we need you even more. We need your knowledge and expertise to curate those tools to allow them to make sense. So all this data need to be recorded and stored in a way that you can access it anytime, anywhere you want, and to store it in a way that it is efficient enough and is relevant enough for your work processes lah. So just now, like I mentioned, and also Carl mentioned that not all technology suits. You need to know. Also, if not all technology suits, then it comes to data. All data is no good data. You have to choose the right data to fit within your decision making, and that's what we want. We host all those data into the common data environment or softwares that allow you to integrate this data within. If you have softwares, then you make sure that the softwares are flexible enough to talk to each other, to merge with each other in order for you to make efficient. So I guess that's the way forward, Kurt.
Thank you so much, Dr. Z. Yeah, I think it's back to the data workflow. When we have already collected the data, we digitize it, then we have to use the data for coordination, right? To integrate the data, connecting with one data to another. Then we can use this for prediction. That's where we can predict how much the cost of the building, what is the risk that we can mitigate and so on, right? Now, thank you so much for that. Okay, so now let's go to the next questions. I think this one, I want to touch M&E side, right? Lushan? Right, so Dr. Zafar has briefed us about the digital tools for M&E. We know that they are also digital tools for M&E. So could you share a little bit with us what are the digital solutions available that can be used by the M&E contractors?
All right, so I think for the M&E side, there's actually many solutions out there that can cater to different parties in the M&E industry. Right, so for example, for M&E consultants, they'll be more focusing on designing software or designing solutions, right, such as AutoCAD or Revit, to actually come up with their engineering designs for tendering. Right, so other than that, for contractor side, they can look for software solutions such as clash detection solutions, such as Revit or Autodesk Navisworks. Right, so this helps them to prevent delays in installation work due to clashes with other installation of other trade materials, right? And it helps to smoothen their progress at site, right? So speaking of progress at site, they can also adopt project management solutions, right? Such as like BIM 360 or solutions such as Proficient, right? To actually replace paper documents, to relay important information, and also to coordinate effectively between different parties in a construction team. Right, so other than that, lastly, we have our very own measurement tool as well called TME. Right, so TME actually stands for taking off for mechanical and electrical. Right, so this is actually a software created to help anyone in the M&E sector that does measurement works, right? Be it in the ACMV sector, in the electrical trade, or plumbing and sanitary works, right? So with that said, I believe that all these BIM solutions are actually very useful as it opens up boundaries, right, for better work collaboration, and it also improves the efficiency of construction work. Right, but I believe that the most important thing here is that a company may not need a lot of very advanced software, a lot of very expensive software, right? It can just be a very simple and inexpensive one. So the most important thing is that it must be able to address the company's pain points directly, right? And solve their core problems, right? So as what Carl mentioned just now, so I believe that the most important thing here is to find the right solution for the right problem. Right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lu Sheng. Yeah, at the end of the day, no matter what solutions that you are using, actually the most importantly, you know what is the function, what kind of problems that you can address by using this kind of solutions, you know? Like you can have like a lot of solutions that you mentioned, like Revit, TME, Cubicle TME, and so on. But at the end of the day, are these tools actually can address the problems that we are facing, right? So, yep, thank you for that. Now, Amirul, looking into big data, so how actually we can relate big data with the digital cost management? Is it like for a better cost efficiency?
How we can relate? Okay, how we can relate? All right, actually, this is a very good question because of for those people who are very new to technology, normally they normally what they always confuse, you know, when it comes to technology. We have BIM, we have big data, and so on. So, in which part we need to use BIM? In which part we need to use big data? Sometimes they just interchangeably use it. You know, BIM is big data is BIM. So they cannot see the boundary boundary there. Which one should be BIM? Which one is big data, and so on. So come back to your question just now. How we can relate to cost efficiency? We need to understand the meaning of the cost first. Okay, what is cost? So normally, cost is something that we get by times two components. Normally, cost consists of two components. Normally, we have quantity and also we have rates. Okay, build-up rates. Sometimes you call PTE and so on. So these rates need to be timed with quantity. When we are talking about quantity component, is much on the BIM technology side. How we can make it automation from the model directly give you the quantity. So that is BIM. But when it comes to the big data, it's much on the rates. How you come up with the rates. You know how to come up with rates, right? We need to times with all this productivity and so on. Then actually, this kind of rate, it must be supported by data. Again, data, right? So this data, it should be a real time. And for example, we can use a lot of examples at site that happen at site. For example, like we have so many people on site. What is the productivity? You know, how much is the output and so on. And if we look at another example, for example, like lorry, how they transport one material from one place to another place, how long it takes and so on. So actually, all these things, right, should be detected automatically by devices at site. Okay? Whether you have a CCTV, you have a smart helmet and so on. So actually, when you're talking about the productivity, we relate back with the, Kyle mentioned just now about BMW and NVIDIA, which is the happiness influence the productivity, right? So we're talking about people, you know, humans' emotions is different. When you're happy, basically productivity increase. When you are not happy, productivity it goes down, right? For example, like when you come to office in the morning, you're already fresh, productivity you high. When you go to afternoon, your productivity goes down and so on. So it is something to do with humans. So all these things, right, actually it can be converted into data. And this kind of things, right, should be directly sensed from any devices at site. So this data, once already detected by any sensor like CCTV or smart helmet and so on, this can basically convert into data. So this data also can be translated into we call it as a commercial information, whether directly converted or indirectly converted and so on. So this data can be used to justify, link back to the rate just now. You know, it's a real time. So that is the beauty of the technology. Everything should be connected, should be linked automatically. But whether it can be done or not, automatically linked is for the future. Yeah? This is the direction that we want to go. So by linking all these things, using all those technology, devices, and so on, it should be linked back to the rate component just now, so that the rate is big data. We times back with the quantity which is generated by BIM, so we can optimize the cost efficiency from there.
Right, right. Okay, thank you, Amiro. Yeah, it's clearly stated that from your sharing just now, data integration is very crucial, right, Amiro? Yeah. Okay, it will help the company to make a better decision making, so we can reduce, to have better cost, protection for the building, and then reduce the wastage and so on. Now, due to the time constraint, so it will be the last questions that I want to address to you, Carl. Okay, based on your expertise and also experience working with contractors, can you share a little bit with our users today? What are the general strategy, or we can say steps, to adopt this digital transformation in a company?
Yeah, I would probably break it down to 4 things. Right. First thing, you need to understand the business needs. Right. That's very important. You also need to look at the vision. What's your vision? Right. If there's no vision, no point. No point to move forward. And from the visions, you start to do your horizons. So horizons is a process or a step that you look at what you want to achieve in the next 3 years, next 5 years, next 7 years, next 10 years. Right. So, but horizons, be prepared to change. You need to be agile. Because sometimes when you reach your first horizon, thinking that you're already there, people already moved to horizon 5 already. Okay? So you need to start changing. You need to be agile. Stop, move. Right? So it is better to have that drafted out to understand where you are, where are you going. Okay? The next thing is, again, develop your tools, your process, and your people. Right? That's important. And to do that, you need to do some feasibility studies, whether this is something suitable or not. Again, this is something suitable for your people, for your organization, for your way of working, right? So you need to understand that. Then the next thing is, when you get these people to, if you've done these feasibility studies, you need to show them the values, right? Because the problem is always when you when you talk about digital strategies, it's always top down, and the problem is it's not top until down, okay? You're always stuck in the middle, right? And when that is stuck in the middle, people from the bottom don't understand why we need to do this. Hey, why you need to do this extra work? This doesn't bring any value to me. Why should I do it for you? You know, that's when things happen badly. Right, and these people doesn't see, they don't see the values that they are doing all these things. So you need to communicate. You need to show them the values, why we need to do this, right? And you need to do it at the right time. The timing is also important, because very often you will try to start something, it's not at the right time, it will fail. And when it fails, the effects is bad. Okay. The next thing is, again, go back to the culture. Right? You need to build that culture. And you also need to look at design thinking. Right? Design thinking workshops is actually very important. I would encourage everyone to do it, or every organization to do it. Because through design thinking workshop, you'll be able to understand what actually you need to do. What is the end result? What do you need to get from here to point A to point B? What is more important to you? What is your priority? Right? So going through the design thinking workshops makes a lot of sense. It actually helps, right? To me, initially when I started joining this design thinking workshop, I was quite skeptical. This is a waste of time. But really, after the first session, I can see it. I said, this is what strengthens what you believe in. Okay? So when it strengthens what you believe in, it shows you the way that how you get from point A to point B. Okay, so design thinking workshops, I would encourage. If you have, you should do it, right? The next thing is platform and ecosystem. So when you move, you have that tools already, you should start looking at building platforms, right? Platforms to bridge all this together, right? But one step after that is to have that ecosystem. So when you talk about ecosystem, it's not only about yourself, like what Amiru mentioned, the ecological, right? So you're talking about the ecosystem between all different parties involved, between all disciplines involved. That's very important, right? And it's not only that, it's also to vendor like, Glodon. If you can build that collaboration, right, with Glodon, you can do a lot more things, right? For example, they have APIs, right? You can actually use those APIs to create different tools that you do not have, right, which you need, right, to fill those gaps, right? So to be able to collaborate with different vendors, different disciplines, right, to build that ecosystem is the ultimate part that you need to achieve, right? And of course, that one, you need to have you need to bridge those gaps now, right? The next thing is execution. During execution, often organization fail, okay? One interesting thing you see is even how prepared they are, they never have anticipated things that comes in, right? The problem is because they are not really from the construction industry. They don't understand the construction industry. So when you get system in and try to, which is not, especially ERP, okay, not from this industry, the users will feel the pain, okay. So you need to really manage it. Especially when you do implementation, you need to understand the scale, and you need to have the support ready, the capabilities, the capacities ready. Very often, the first day they go live, it kills the support team. They only prepare 2 or 3 or 10 people, okay? I've experienced that. They have 200 support teams in Philippines trying to solve the rollout of Oracle, and it kills the 200 team. 200 also cannot handle, okay? Why? Because in the first place, they didn't do the feasibility studies. They don't actually talk to the users, okay? So all this, you need to be prepared, okay? You also need to be, look at change management as well, very important, right? Change management is not talking about your change order, blah, 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 okay? It's talking about you're deploying a new system, right? You need to know who are the people, right? What are they responsible for? What they need to do, okay? That is change management. And you also need to look at putting a task force, right? For short term on a long term basis. Why? Because during this time, especially the interim period when you start rolling out, you start getting there, there are a lot of things still missing, okay? And the problem arises badly when people start to find workarounds, okay? If something's stuck there, I cannot continue, I find my workarounds. What is the best workaround? Excel. So when those workarounds did not manage properly, you're dead, okay? They start to go out of the system. So all your trackings, all your fantastic way of tracking, fantastic way of doing your big data doesn't make sense anymore because a chunk of it got already gone. Okay, so you need to manage that, right? So try to avoid workarounds. So how do you manage workarounds? You have to have that task force looking at the workaround and standardize it, saying that yes, this one works. Make sure that what you do outside later come back, we can use it, right? Okay. So the other thing is mistakes. You will learn a lot of mistakes, but bear in mind, you have to learn, okay, not hide. Okay? Or very often, people hide mistakes. Okay? And when they hide mistakes, even bad, even worse implication. Okay? So you have to avoid that. And finally, after your deployment, you need to do reviews. You have to understand, you cannot just deploy already, that's it. Cow team, pack my bag, I can leave already, I'm happy, I'm going for holiday. No. You have to review what you can improve. You have to continuously improve what you have now, to move forward. Why? Hey, your competitor is not asleep yet, They are still moving, Okay? So you have to improve. And your people itself, you think once you roll out already, they are happy? That's where it starts. That's where it begins. And they will tell you, this one can be faster or not. This one's so slow. Why I need to key in here? So you need to fix those. Okay. And talking about moving all this, right? One thing you need to understand as well. When you deploy any tools or any system, right? Make sure you try it out yourself, okay. If you can bear with it for a long term, then only you roll out. Don't do something that people also don't want to use. Okay? And finally, when all of this come together, there are always these three things that you need to look at in terms of adaptability and survival when you do other things, not only in digital strategies. First thing, you have to understand your scenario. You have to look at your scenarios. What are you talking about scenarios? What if? What if COVID 2023 come out? What if everybody use BIM 5D, everybody use Glodon, I'm still using Excel? Okay? That is the scenario that you look at. Okay? Second thing is unlearn and learn. Empty your cups. Don't always give me your opinions. Okay? As the senior management, you have to understand what the youngsters hear about. Right? They may be, you may have all the experience, but they have the new ideas, the new brains out there. Right? So unlearn and learn. Okay? Finally, explore, not exploit. Right? Explore, not exploit doesn't mean, it means something like, I'm here already. Why should I care about you? I have all the customers, I have all the projects. No, that's exploiting. Okay? So don't exploit. Explore. What do you mean explore? Explore new ideas, explore new business model, right? Innovate, right? That's explore. So that three scenario, the three recipes, right? You need to have. Okay? That is part of the digital strategies.
Right. Thank you so much, Kyle. I really like when you mentioned just now the two scenarios. Maybe the first one, okay, not really. Second one, all people use Glodon. Yeah, that one, I really like it. Kyle, right? We go for that. Okay, so from the sessions that we have today, we know that digital transformation needs a lot of effort, combining all the people, the data, and also the processes together. And in a world that is changing fast right now, companies need to have a great flexibility, I can say, and having a good digital capabilities and the right people that can challenge, that can deal with new challenges. So of course, the complete digital transformation, as what Carl, Dr. Zafira already mentioned, it needs time. It cannot be done within 1 or 2 months, all right? So slowly taking a small step, right, to establish digital development and providing educate training to your people, right? So it will be essential to enabling the adoption of new technologies and processes. So it's not now or never situations, rather the sooner the better, right? Okay, so we have already come to the end of the session, so we prepared some gift for our external panelists. I would like to invite Ms. Joyce Chan to deliver the token of appreciation to our external panelists. Please welcome. Let us invite Dr. Zafira to receive the token of appreciation. Thank you so much, Dr. Z. Thank you for your insightful input on our topic today. I would like to invite Mr. Carl Yu, the Digital Lead of Gamudar Engineering, to receive your token of appreciation. Thank you so much, Carl. Appreciate your time and effort to share your experience and views from contractors' perspective with our users today. Thank you so much, Joyce. Last but not least, please give a big round of applause to Amirul Kaur Lucian and to you guys who are stayed until now. All right, so thank you so much, panelists, for the great input that you guys shared today. Thank you, everyone. I hope all the information that we shared today will be useful and so helpful in your digital transformation journey. And we hope that it gives some valuable ideas to uplift your work performance with digitalization. Let's fight for more successful digital transformation in construction industry. Thank you, everyone.
That was an astonishing and refreshing discussion from our panelists over there. Let's take this opportunity to thank them for their very fresh discussion over there, right? So now, digitalization has been very difficult nowadays. We need to keep moving forward. We can't stop. The minute we stop, we fall back behind. We need to make sure that Malaysia is right on track with the rest of the countries out there, right? So before you move into the next agenda of the day, the very important agenda, just want to remind you all that the lucky draw is still on. If you forget to leave your name card inside the name card box at the exit there, please feel free to do so towards the end of this event, right? So now, the moment that everyone has been waiting for, I'd like to take this opportunity to invite Mr. Sam Tan to present on Glodon's latest updates. The floor is yours.
Hi, good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon. Can you say hi to me? The purpose of saying hi is not saying hi to me, is to wake someone that actually already fall asleep. Right, okay, so again, I'm Sam. Okay, I'm a customer success consultant in Glodon Malaysia. Right, so I think some of you might familiar with my voice, not to my face. Okay, right. So the session for today, I'm going to share about our Glodon Malaysia updates. Okay. Just bear with me. Right. So we talked about just now on the low adoption and high awareness of our QB cost software, or even any 5D BIM software, right? So the things that normally there are some obstacles that actually in one company exists. The first thing will be on the financial, right? On how much the money that actually I invest and how much the return that actually in terms of efficiency I can get. Okay. The second thing it will be on the services, the learning. Okay. So learning one new software, you will need to unlearning. Okay, you need to relearning. So it will be a long life term of the learning processes. Okay, so it's actually, you need a contribution from the company and also the employee, okay, to contribute it, to get everything into a correct path. Right, so our Glodon Malaysia, our aims, our customer success is to provide high quality and promising services deliverables to help customers like you guys, right? Okay, in achieving the digitization goals and maximizing the value for money. Okay, how much you're going to spend, you might be worrying how much you're going to gain in terms of efficiencies. That's the thing, right? sorry, I just make a big cast with Chester. Actually, do you have any occurrence that my mic just now, I try to speak it, it's actually I unable to speak. The first thing, the things will come from Chester, it will be on support. It's supporting me, right? So what is actually Glodon Malaysia do to our customer? What we actually provide to us, right? So we actually provide a lot of the services. First thing, cubicles training, right? So for cubicles training, we actually have the basic training, intermediate training, mini courses, advanced courses, and workshop. Workshop, we're talking about, for example, for contractor, normally we will get a PDF drawing, right? How are we going to deal with the PDF drawing? Okay, some of the user might ask me, I get the AutoCAD drawing, can I do it, the modeling very quickly? Yes, you can, but if I get a PDF drawing, can I do the software? Can I operate it very fast? Yes, you also can. It's just down to how you actually master the software, right? So we do provide the trainings, okay, and there will be a train-the-trainer session. It will be from lecturers, okay, some are the universities and also our private agencies, right? The third one will be on cubicle certification. We have personal certification, company certification, and also trainer certification. Certification is actually variable to everyone personally, okay, for me, myself as well, right? Okay, and we have the technical support. This technical support is the most beautiful part of our Glodon Malaysia that actually we keep on emphasizing, right? Whenever you have problem, you're able to find us through our Glodon e-community, through our WhatsApp hotline service. It's just like the things that actually just now happens. My mic having some problem, someone is coming out already. Okay, this is how impromptu, how Glodon Malaysia promote on the people, on the process, and also the technology that we're adopting to be near to our users. Not that today I sell the software, okay, I'm not going to service you anymore. No, it's not this way, right? So project guidance as well. If you start a new live project, you don't know how to start it, okay, you can, okay, we're able to provide you a live project guidance, whether it's online or on-site, okay, and also coaching sessions, right? So like just now, Ms. Joyce said, we actually spend a lot on research and development. Okay, we keep on continuing, collect all the feedback. Okay, and also there will be new feature release every single year, and also a key optimization of the functions. Right. Take a look. This will be the service info pack release. Okay, it will be releasing after this event. Right. It will be either in hard copy or in soft copy. Right. So all the information have in this service info pack will actually consist of all the training schedule, all the on-site training, online training, workshop, coaching, every session. Even Cubicles installer also have, but except one thing don't have. You don't have my contact number. Okay, no problem. Contact number later we leave it to the networking session. Okay, we can actually exchange our contact. Right. So this will be releasing soon. Okay, please stay tuned. Right, take a sneak peek on the basic user milestone. Right, our training center in Jaya 1 is actually, we have it in year 2015. Right, in year 2016, we actually have 700 packs of the users. In 2019, it's a very tough year. Okay, we're able to produce 1,800 basic users. And year 2022, until now, until today, we actually have 3,360 packs as of today. And in conclusion, for these 6 to 7 years, we already have roughly 12,000 basic users in the market. Okay, what it says? It says that awareness is high. Okay, how about the adoption? The adoption is us to provide you the services for you to adopt your software into your company, right? And this year, we actually have a customer success event. Okay, this event is actually, we incorporate with the companies that use our Cubicle software. So you can see, this is the platform that we leave it to our client, okay, to share with them, share with us what is the thing that actually they use it, okay? The resources that actually they use it, right? Okay, so for this one is from Alunan Asas. The Alunan Asas is actually doing the modeling, okay, pre and post contracts. Okay, for the pre and post contracts. Okay, when I say post contract, is what it means is we actually have a function, a new function is what we call the segmentation functions. These segmentation functions, okay, able for you to have a full cost model at the beginning of the tender. You're able to segment all the quantity from the beginning of the base quality. You're able to segment it into be progress claim, progress by progress, and you're able to do the variation order by our revision functions. Okay, so this company, Aluna Asa, is actually using the TSTRB software. It saves around 65% of the time, and also the accuracy will be 75%. The next one, it will be the consultant, okay, Bidang Cost Consult from the East Malaysia, Sabah. Right, so this will be the same, okay. What is actually bring the value to this company is when they do the model, when they tender the model, they bring the value added to the client, okay. They have a model, okay. They do have a model during the pre-tender stage. They let the client to visualize what is the model looks like. Apparently, you will have the total overall cost of the product, okay. So it enhances the team collaborations, and also it saves the time 50%, and also the productivity as well, as you can see. Right, so there are some info, the training updates info. We're going to have a new training specifically for the contractors. Right, so for this contractor business module is the new training to tackle about our PDF drawings. Okay, how to deal with the PDF drawing that we use for the cubic cost. Right, so there will be unlimited training for the contractors. Okay, and it will be a certificate of attendance will be issued, and also CCD point, you can apply for it. Right, okay, so it's almost the end. Right, almost the end. The next one we're going to talk about on a promotion. Okay, bear with me, we still have 3 more slides. Okay, so the first thing, the first promotion for this event is going to be the cubic cost with the N3C promotions. First of all, what is N3C? Right, so N3C is a National Construction Cost Center operated by the BCISM. BCISM stands for the Building Cost Information Services Malaysia. Okay, they have the historical data from every single state, right? So all the data, including the building material, labor, machinery, indexes, and also all the constants, okay, you're able to get all the informations. So if you subscribe to TBQ license, you will get one 90 days N3C premium pricing plan, right? Limited offer only, okay, first come, first served basis, right? So our account manager will in touch with you, okay, for more inquiry. The second one will be the building bundle promotions. Building bundle promotion, it will be, some of you might know, some of you might not know for this logo what it actually means. The green color TAS actually I will taking off for the architecture and structure. The blue color will be taking off for the rebar only. And the orange color is the TBQ with the cost management platform solution for consultant to prepare the BQ for contractor to tender the price. Right, so for this building bundle, now keep on, we actually have more and more tenders, right? Okay, so we might need to have building bundles with us, okay, have a safe side. So 1 TAS, 1 TRB, and 2 TBQ, when you subscribe it, you will get 2 Lenovo Legion laptops. Terms and conditions apply, and limited offer only, first come, first serve basis, right? Right, so the last one will be the 3 years subscriptions promotions, right? 3 years subscription promotion, you can subscribe any products, TAS, TRB, TBQ, or TME, okay? Any single products, you can enjoy 10% additional discount with 3 years subscriptions, okay? 3 years subscriptions, yeah? Right. So this will be the summary of our promotions, right? Have a look, right? So there's one more, which is, if you payment within 14 days, you will be enjoy extra 30 days license validity, right? So that will be the promotion of this event. Lastly, one question is, think about your company, what you want it to be, and think about how you can actually make changes on this era after the pandemic. That's all from my presentation, and I will leave it back to my MC. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you for your updates. Right, so in this industry right now that we're facing, the trend of BIM is actually going up. So while going up, we totally hope that this event here today, or the context of upskilling the contractors' skill performance, right? So can actually help all of you here today. So to conclude this event here today, we would like to say one thing is that we hope that you all can transform together with us, Glodon QB and also make sure that we can compete else with other countries, right? We don't want to get stuck in this industry here at Malaysia at the location where we are doing manual things right now. We want to transform, right? So apart from that, I like to do a small reminder, lucky draw, right? So this one I have to keep reminding because some of you may have forget about this lucky draw.
I don't think they will forget about this. This is like one of their highlights.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's lucky that you guys can participate in this lucky draw because we don't get the opportunity to do so, right?
Yeah,
our name card is not valid, so right. Okay, so just a gentle reminder for all of you, right? So by our event organizer, if you have any questions about the promotions that was shown by Sam earlier on, feel free to consult any of our account managers over here today, and fill up the feedback form that we have given to you inside the QR code, right, at your event pass over there. And also you can follow our account managers and event crews to the location downstairs.
Where
right?
you can see there, they are waiting for you right there.
Everyone's waiting for you. So thank you very much everyone for attending today's event. We'll see you downstairs in the networking area.
So basically the networking area is actually located at the square, which is level G, Jaya 1. So basically, to highlight what Keen has stated, so you have any, question in terms of the promotion, feel free to liaise with our account manager. So, and again, if you have any question to our panelists in terms of beams, you can also look for them there. So with that said, I do hope to see you all there and you all enjoy this very event. So thank you everyone. Thank you.
Give a round of applause to yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. See you all.
Right.